Dave, congratulations first of all. Manager of the season, I should say, at the North West Football Awards on Tuesday night. What did that award mean for you personally?
Yeah, them awards are brilliant. Really good reinforcement and I suppose backup of the success we had last year. But as I said on the night, I'm still sort of receiving an award, but receiving an award on behalf of many people. Obviously the players. And the players, there's some players that like I say, have moved on from the club. The management team and the management staff that, again, you'll know what it's like. There's no real hierarchy around the place. I think that leads to a really good environment that gives us the best chance of being successful. And again, right throughout the club, that's a reward for everybody, really. I'm just the one that has to go up there and accept it, or gets the reward of going up and accepting it. But listen, it was a really good night. Like I say, really good for everyone to be recognised, and hopefully more further down the line.
Recognition for Fraser as well, of course, which is testament, I suppose, to the contribution he had last season.
Yeah, definitely, and I think even within that, there's probably, you look at other players that were maybe selected. We've probably got to have more players that I get. They're probably going to select one player from each team, but there were lots of players last season that had really good seasons and affected not only the team, but affected the championship winning team. But great for, like I say, great for him. But again, on the back of, you get some individual rewards in what is a team sport and a team environment, and the other players within the squad play a big part in allowing him to do what he does.
Coming back to Saturday, obviously 3 straight wins in the league now, some big games coming up as well, but FA Cup first, looking forward to that change of pace a little bit?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to trying to win. I just said that it's important that we've built up some momentum. And that momentum has to carry on, and it comes, granted, with a Birmingham in the week and whatnot, but they've got a game themselves in the FA Cup, and I imagine they'll go strong and they'll want to progress, and we're no different. So yes, we'll look forward to it. Yes, we'll put a strong side out. There's a bigger carrot dangling than was the round before this, because everybody, regardless of whether they're at the game or not on Saturday, would want to be part of that third round draw to see what it brings. We all live in hope, don't we? That you draw either a big Premier League side at home or away, when in essence you could draw the furthest team away for us 6 hours away in the south, away from home, and maybe people then in hindsight go, it wasn't a great idea, was it? But we have, like I say, we've got to carry the run we've had forward, try and progress. We know what we're coming up against. It'll be like I say, it's a tough test because of how Brackley are and how they'll set up and what they'll try and do to give them the best chance of winning the game. But there's a big prize potentially at the end of it.
What's more important for you? Is it about getting to the next round, or is it about, as you say, maintaining that momentum that you've started to build up now?
Both as important, because one doesn't come without the other. So you can have an argument within that to say, well, if you didn't progress and you performed absolutely brilliantly and didn't win the game, the momentum would still be there. But momentum will be built up by results as well as performances, and especially when you're playing against a lower ranked team. So yeah, there's probably more pressure on us than if we were playing against a team in our league, strangely enough. But it brings opportunity, and it brings opportunity we want to make sure we grab.
You've had a very settled team in recent weeks. A lot of players having to be patient for their opportunity. Do you see Saturday as that chance for them to maybe make some changes?
Potentially. Some of it will be taken out of our hands. The team that I would have picked on Monday is probably different than the team I'll pick today, because we've, I think, 4 lads or 5 lads off ill, so we need to see what they're like. But you're at a time of year when that happens, so you're at the time, especially with the Christmas period, where you will pick up injuries, you will pick up suspensions. We have to make a change in the Birmingham game. There will be things happen away from the environment. There will be illnesses, which again we've got a little bit through the squad at the moment. So we'll pick the team that's the healthiest team and the best team to try and win the game for us on Saturday. That would still have been the case regardless. Players that have been missing, but maybe some that would have started maybe won't as a consequence.
I know there was a feeling after the Tranmere game that maybe players didn't take their opportunity when they were given it. Have you had to re-emphasise that message that if players want to get into the starting 11 in league games, that they need to start making the most of those chances?
I shouldn't have to re-emphasise that, really. Like I say, it's almost actions speak louder than words. If I'm telling people things and they're not taking that on board, then ultimately there's a consequence to that, and people and players won't be in the squad and will be left out, and that's been the case over the last few weeks. Aside from probably Powley, Tyler and Noyley, we're essentially fit with everybody else. Everyone else is fit. That means that 3 or 4 players miss out on the matchday squad, and that's been the case, and that's not just on a whim. That's based on what we see day to day when we're here. That's based on what we see when people get their opportunities. And if you don't grab them, then in a strong squad, you're going to be disappointed. And how long you're disappointed ultimately will be dependent on your reaction to that disappointment and how you then go and perform, whether it be the next time you get an opportunity or whether it be day to day out there. And that's always going to be the way it is when we've got a squad as strong as we have.
In terms of the injuries, I suppose the only player that we've not seen yet feature this season has been Kyle Noyle. How far away is he now from being back involved?
Not far away. What are we? He's probably 2 weeks away from returning to full training, I'd suggest. And then comes back into the squad in a really busy period. I would expect that if we saw him before the new year, it would probably be a risk, and maybe a risk that at the moment with what we've got, I could probably say is not worth taking, but that could change. So the important bit is we get him up to speed as quickly as possible and make him available for selection as quickly as possible, and then we can assess where we're at and whether we need to. We won't risk things anyway, but whether we can sort of push the boundaries a little bit further. He'll be desperate to get back as quickly as possible, which is quite natural, and it's important that the work that he's done, and he's worked his socks off while he's been injured, is rewarded, and not just rewarded in the short term, rewarded in the medium term and the long term. And the fact that he doesn't pick up any more injuries is certainly not a consequence of the one he's had previously.
And just moving on to Brackley, a team county fans will know a lot about from their time in the National League North, and I assume you do as well from your time at Fylde. Never been an easy team to beat, never been an easy team to break down, and that's not really changed in the time since then, has it?
No, they've got a really experienced team for the level. They've got players that have played higher than the level throughout the team. They are strong on transition and strong on set pieces. I think before Tuesday's game, they'd scored 19 goals in the league for them, 13 of which have come from set pieces. So they're a strong set piece team from corners, from long throws. So we know we're going to have to defend against that. They'll be organised, they'll get behind the ball, they'll defend in numbers and look to break and counter attack. So we expect that. If it's different, then we react to that. But if you look at even in games in their league, against the likes of Buxton, they went and were deep and were organised and won the game 2-0. And they've done that consistently over the course of the season. They're in around the playoff positions in that league, and they were beaten in the playoff final last year. I watched them in the semi-final at Chester. So I've seen plenty of them. We'll certainly be not taking anybody lightly. Like I say, a lot of our players and myself have come through those levels and know the ability that's there. So we have to be the best versions of ourselves, and if we're the best versions of ourselves and we're really, really top level, then they'll find it a really tough game. But if we're not, then the FA Cup can bring what it brings. So we've got to make sure that we're really, really good, and that's what we plan to try and do.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.